We're a vertically integrated company. So we conceive it, design it, build the tools, we do the injection molding. That gives us a level of knowledge on how you can and can't do within tooling to really optimize. So that's where the engineering team listens to, us on the science side and then the marketing and what are the customers. And that really was a big part of the design process on here before we ever had anything we could put on a bench. And so that gives us a control point to really make a difference. And when you do a good job on something, I think, you look at the classics of Apple and their iPhones, at the surface, it looks really simple and clean, but inside the performance, it doesn't look that different, but there's a lot of work that goes into there.
This is episode 218 with Todd Pieri and Steve Barnes from AquaStar Pool Products. Enjoy!
Welcome to your go-to podcast for the pool and spa industry. My name is Tyler Rasmussen.
And my name is Greg Viafania. And this is the Pool Chasers Podcast.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for joining the podcast with us today. How are you guys doing?
Everything's good. Thanks for having us.
Amazing. Thanks for having us.
Awesome. So we've had you both kind of on a few different episodes now, but for those that may not have heard, can you introduce yourselves for us?
Yeah, I'm Todd Pieri, COO of AquaStar Pool Products.
And I'm Steve Barnes, Director of Science and Compliance for AquaStar Pool Products.
Awesome. So you introduced the filter. All right, now you're introducing a pump. So why don't you share with us kind of what made you go down that line? Obviously the pool pad, right? Everybody needs a pump and a filter, but what made you guys choose to kind of take on this tall task?
Yeah, there was a few things where we had always strived to come up with solutions that move water in and out of a pool in an efficient fashion. So 5 years ago, as you guys know, we started the filter, and at the same time, we started the pump project. And as everyone knows, with AquaStar, we always look to improve these products. We really had the service trade in mind when making both of these units. And from the get-go, we were looking at making them more user-friendly for the service trade, more efficient for the service trade, and then at the end of the day, makes it more user-friendly and efficient for the homeowner as well. So a win on all sides with it. And we absolutely have done that with the filter. And we truly believe we've done that with the pump as well. So a lot of little nuanced changes in this. The DOE was coming with the changes to variable speed pumps, and it fell right in line with our timing with launching this pump. And we feel like we hit another home run with the models that we've come out with.
Awesome.
Yeah, we started looking at as pumps as a category. That's when the Department of Energy DP3 rule, dedicated purpose pool pump, was drafted, but it just only went into effect July 19th, 2021. But the rule was written, so we were able to design around that. We also are paying attention to where the rules are going in the future. And so we really try and stay on the cutting edge of this stuff. And I think this is another one where we're getting really close to that mark.
Yeah. So, 5 years is a long time. So, what goes into something like this to figure out, develop it, test it, that kind of thing?
Well, I'll let Steve jump into the technical stuff here in a minute, but yeah, we went through a lot more phases of the pump than we did the filter. The filter, we had a really good idea of what we wanted to do and knew what we wanted to accomplish. And the pump, that was a moving target for us, even though we had a lot to research and a lot to look at, but a lot of different iterations of the pump relative to connection points and how big should the basket be and how easy should the lid be to get off, the programmability of the pump. So a lot of changes in this one. That's why we're a little bit later to the game with the pump than we were the filter, but a lot of really, really good changes as well.
Yeah, he talks about changes. We're talking, there was a whole prototype pump, and we looked at it and said, you know what, we can do better. So this is really version 2.0 of this. So that added to the timeline. some of the key components Todd mentions that continue to be very focused on the service trades and the installers and the users. And when your life's easy in the service and installation side, then life's better for the pool owner. But things that we looked at is unions that are really easy to use with your hands, to put them on and off so they don't leak. The selection of the material so they don't stick to each other over time. Some stuff like that. The how the lid comes off. The basket itself, not only is it really, really big, 2.5 inch, how the water flows through it. The quality of the basket, I think, when you get your hands on it, you'll see it stands out. Those internal surfaces and all of that, we have to catch the garbage in there, but how you design those internal ribs and all of that drastically affects how easy it is to clean it. So there's that level of engineering, because we do the molding and the product design. We're a vertically integrated company. So we conceive it, design it, build the tools. We do the injection molding. That gives us a level of knowledge on what you can and can't do within tooling to really optimize. So that's where the engineering team listens to, us on the science side, and then the marketing and what are the customers. And that really was a big part of the design process on here before we ever had anything we could put on a bench. The usability of even the drive and the motor. We own all our own. We design our stuff, the tooling, even the motor drive. We don't make motors, nor will we ever, I don't think. But but the things that people touch, we design and we own that tooling, and so that gives us a control point to really make it different. And when you do a good job on something, I think you look at the classics of Apple and their iPhones. At the surface, it looks really simple and clean. But inside, the performance and stuff doesn't look that different, but there's a lot of work that goes into there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks really nice. I mean, it looks sleek. It looks designed well. And you're right, it is all the little integral pieces of that. But it's huge that you guys can develop all that on site. You know what I mean? Like, if it took you 5 years to do it this way, if you weren't doing your own stuff, it would have taken you 10 plus years probably to ship each version out.
Well,
yeah,
we'd still be working on it.
Yeah, well, the reality is, I don't care who owns the company, there's some point where you just can't go on and on and on. So what happens is, when you don't control every level of it, whether you hire an outside design firm or outside tool makers or all of that, when you don't control those things, you kind of like, well, it's not really what I was envisioning, but I spent a lot of money in a year, so I guess we got to launch this kind of a thing. So that's really over and above being able to do it quickly, is to really go back and fine tune. Really, what we come out as version 1.0, probably most organizations would be 1.3, 1.4 kind of a thing, because we're able to do a lot before anyone sees it.
Yeah, I mean, even the molds alone cost tens of thousands of dollars sometimes for other companies, and the fact that you can do that.
Add a couple of zeros, but yeah.
I was being nice with the tens of thousands.
Yeah.
I was being nice, but
very true.
Yeah, I mean, it's lots of money even for just the molds alone. So you're right. If you get the version 1 of you that you have, and it's not what you want, do you have the capital to possibly even try for a version 2? You might just be stuck with that and then tweak it a little bit. So
yeah, and that's we talked about it before, but that's just what's so great about our owner and about the company is he wants it to go to the field right. We do soft launches. We did a soft launch with the filter. We're doing a soft launch with the pump right now. We have a couple hundred in the Southern California area, and things are going just so well right now. And that's a testament to him wanting to have a quality product before we get it in the hands of those service customers and in our trade, because we're a little late to the game relative to the other big three on pumps. So we got to do it right, and we want to do it a little bit different. Relative to if it makes sense, and when it makes sense to the end user and to the service tech, that's what's important to us, and that's what we've been able to accomplish.
There's some unique technology things. I'm kind of known as the geek, so let me geek out a little bit here.
I was going to ask you about technology next, so good lead.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, jumping ahead.
You're good. No, I want to hear about
So-
the geeky technology. That's what makes it
Awesome.
stand out.
So the focus, as I mentioned already, is ports through and through are 2.5 inch. So it really is the next generation of pump in that regard, compared to taking the very, very good quality pumps on the market now, and they put variable speed motors on them. And so, but this was designed from the beginning for the variable speed motors, and by that what I mean is the pump itself. If you've ever been on commercial jobs with big 25, 30 horsepower pumps, you will see those pumps are what's called a volute pump. And you basically, the pipe comes off the side instead of dead center. So a volute pump is if you take a pipe, whatever size, 2.5 inch, and heat bend it and wrap it around an impeller, then it's smaller and then it gets bigger. That's the most efficient way. So water coming out of the spinning impeller collects all the way around and then leaves the pump. But that is real annoying to install, because now everything's offset. They don't look great in a residential environment and all, because people just aren't accustomed to it. I was like, let's, chase performance and energy efficiency. And they're like, yeah, that's how we But the solution was ingenious is the engineering team just said, well, just rotate it 45 degrees and bring the pipe out the center, because the water doesn't care. Right. And so we get the benefit of the volute in it. And that gives us performance and also quiet. Everything else being equal, a volute pump will always be quieter than the big box where you have a diffuser inside, and then that transfers the water from, the kinetic energy from velocity to pressure, and that's what we use in the pool industry. That's what we want. Well, a volute does that in the classic big motors without a diffuser. So the big invention back in with the whisper flow originally, not to call out a name, but hey, that was they were the leader
Everybody
of
knows
this
that.
back in the
You're fine.
80s. Yeah. And they were the ones that really, really did a good job of the diffuser housing combination. But that big box that we all look at is, the water goes in there and rattles around, bounces around before it leaves that pipe. And when that happens, that turbulence makes noise. That's the biggest thing. Bouncing around takes energy too. So there is an energy component, but the key is the getting rid of that box. So when you see this pump, you're going to see some really stylish fins on the outside. That styling is a byproduct of the engineering. So if you look at them, they're really deep. And the reason for that is that's filling the space that would be the big box in the classic legacy pumps. So that's how we get that volute shape camouflaged, if you will, inside of that housing. And I think they look pretty cool too. But if you look at them close, they're really deep in that, so that just the flow path from the basket through the pump diffuser and out through that top union it's a designed flow path. So hopefully, if you were to follow one molecule of water through it, it goes into the propeller, speeds up, and then right out. So that's the most efficient thing we can do, because the variable speed motors make all pumps more efficient. So the new race is not so much the motor and what we're doing there, because motors are they've been around a long time. They know how to make them very efficient. So where we're trying to change the game on this product, like we did the filter, is on the hydraulics. And so you get high energy efficiency, you get good and real quiet, smooth sounding. I mean, it's noticeably quieter than the others. Not that that's huge, because variable speed pumps are quiet generally anyway. Every every engineering thing that we can touch, we try and take it to the limits of the physics relative to efficiency. We've talked about our lab, and it's kind of a wind tunnel, for moving water sort of approach. So we did a lot of fluid dynamics analysis, flow simulations on various impellers, diffusers, all of that stuff. That was part of the years of work before we ever made the first prototype. So we had a very good idea of how this volute design was going to work before we ever started with prototypes. And then once we got into the actual prototypes of the impellers, I don't know, there had to be hundreds. We tested for well over a year. I know, because it was right outside my office door.
I think if you asked our lead engineer, that was the one component of the system that caused him to lose sleep at night. Countless iterations of that impeller.
I love that, though. So hundreds and hundreds of versions like that, to me is so cool that you're able to do all that, and from your perspective, you can just create it. And the fact that you just take the time, that's the stuff that people don't really see and understand, right? When you look at a pump, it's just a pump you're installing, but what goes into making those things just a slightly more efficient or slightly quieter is pretty crazy. I mean, even you got a variable speed pump on 3400, RPMs are in the priming speed, they're still pretty loud, if they're sitting by a window or something, even though they are quieter than single speeds. But
it's a testament to our staff in that they take everything's a challenge, right? It's personal to them, it's a challenge, and they want to make the best product they possibly can. And we have the benchmarks. We brought the benchmarks in and saw where they were, in every single staff member that has touched this pump. They wanted to make every little component just a little bit better, which is kind of the RMO throughout everything that we touch and that goes out the door and everything that we make.
I think Olaf hires people who take things so passionately that they don't sleep well at night until it's perfect.
Hey, you hire a lot worse. That's great.
I know we were ready to launch. But if we just tweak this edge, and that's not a joke.
No, I know. I've been around your team enough to know that for sure. It's everybody has a passion for those things. It's awesome.
The only other technology kind of thing that I didn't mention on the quiet side is the motor rests. When you see this, it's got a big, it's not rubber, but it looks like rubber. A rubber dampener and foot. It's, I don't know what, Todd, 1.5 inches wide or something like that cradles the bottom of this motor. It's bigger than anything else on the market, and that was 100% engineering, just looking at vibration and managing that. And so that's another aspect that we're just noise isolating, because there's the vibration that happens. Another thing is we looked at the thermal efficiency of the motors, because I'm from Arizona. You're in Arizona.
Yeah.
and so sure. I grew up with the concept is there was the Phoenix model pumps for the big manufacturers, and we're like, no, we're not even starting there. All of ours are going to be Phoenix models.
There you go.
So they can handle the heat. So that's where the cooling fan, again, internal geeky stuff, and how the fins are aligned on the motor, how the air flows over it. Because when things get hot, they take more energy, and obviously they can fail. But on the same time, we talked about some of the other technologies we know better than to touch. Is we do not try and improve on the standard bearings and seals. That's the same one that you're already carrying. The other aspect we really paid attention to is what homeowners do. They put baskets in backwards. You can't with this one. And we know they beat them on deck, so this has got a lot of beefed up plastic instead of square edges. They're rounded. We still don't want people banging stuff on concrete, but and then supporting the bottom of the basket instead of them just hanging. You drop it in. No one really thinks about this. Well, we said, okay, what are the loads from an engineering point of view when this thing's full? Because this pump's powerful. It's going to keep doing its job. And we just don't want to aggravate people because the wind blew in Texas and now it's all full of leaves and bugs. And in the meantime, the basket broke again. Mm-hmm. Well, those are the kinds of things that we just didn't want any part of. Quarter turn to get in and out of this thing. Big O-rings. We're just trying to really focus on when you own this pump, we just try to get rid of all the aggravation.
Sure. Trying to solve pain points, right? That's awesome. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we learn about the permanent magnet motor, the programming and automation capabilities, and the different sizes offered. This episode is brought to you by Leslie's. Leslie's continues to deliver for pool trade professionals by providing benefits no one else can offer. The Leslie's Pro Partner Program can help you grow your business through referrals while also providing their most exclusive pricing and best-in-class warranties on equipment. The Leslie's Pro Partner Program is for pros looking to build a true partnership with their supplier. Stop by your local Leslie's to learn how you can become a pro partner today, or check out episodes 151 and 165 of the podcast for more details. This episode is also brought to you by Primate Pool Tools. Cut through the water with ease with an ultra-strong and super lightweight carbon fiber pole. Primate poles are available in multiple models with length options for every level of service, whether you work on spas or Olympic-sized swimming pools. Their strength makes them ideal for heavy vacuums like Riptide, and their ultra-lightweight makes cleaning any pool easier. All Primate poles are handmade in the USA, come with a commercial warranty, and are even available in custom prints. For more info, click the link below or go to primatepooltools.net. You can also use our special promo code PoolChasers2022 for $20 off. And to learn more about the guys behind Primate Pool Tools, check out episodes 104 and 199. So talk to us more about the permanent magnet motor.
So permanent magnet motor it's obviously got permanent magnets in it. And if you think about the classic single speed pump that we've been using forever in the pool industry, those motors are induction motors, and we use electricity to create two magnetic fields that rotate at 3450 if it's a single speed pump based on 60 hertz, and it's all part of the electrical system. But to create the magnetic field in an induction motor, we use electricity on the outside and on the inside. And so we're using electricity to create the magnetic field, kind of like wrap the wire around the nail as a kid's science project kind of a thing. So a permanent magnet motor, instead, that center rotating part has very powerful, very expensive permanent magnets. That's why permanent magnet motors and pumps are hundreds of dollars more. And so that's an upfront investment to create a magnetic field. The benefit of it is now we're not using electricity to generate that second magnetic field, so we save some energy. Critically important is when you use electricity to create a magnetic field, the byproduct is heat. So if the rotating shaft is using electricity to create it, that heat's going right down that shaft into your seal. And so when you have a permanent magnet motor, all of that goes away. You save the electricity, and it runs cooler, and then that obviously translates into efficiency. The power output's kind of the same either way, but the idea is you're buying the magnetic field up front and not paying for it over the life of the motor. So to put that in perspective, a induction motor, classic, 2 horsepower pump, those motors are about 20 to 40%. A good one is premium motor, with the big E on the label. Those are about 40% efficient. Permanent magnet motor is 91 to 98, depending on the motor. And that big 40, 50% efficiency difference is that magnet being there. So you're not using electricity to create that field. And you can get variable speed pumps that are induction motors, and they're less money, and that's why.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that. That's cool. And I didn't ever know that, so thanks for sharing it.
Yeah.
I like learning new stuff about motors.
That's why these variable speed permanent magnet motors that have been out for over a decade now, decade and a half. Most of those are still out there because they're just the whole center core of them just runs so much cooler because we're not dumping the heat into that shaft.
That's how I started in the industry, was rebuilding motors at a motor shop. So for me, the motors and pumps are always cool.
That's awesome.
So there is a seal in there. Is that replaceable? Is there a seal?
It's a 386, but it's a non-corrosive seal as well. So we went with the high-end seal that'll last a little bit longer.
Kind of like our filter gauge being stainless steel instead of whatever that other stuff is.
Nice.
The mystery gauges.
So what about the programming
cool.
then? So you have different speeds. Does it align with automation? Talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, we have 4 programmable speeds on the unit, and that was one of the things that we really looked at relative to the intuitiveness of the backside of this motor to program at the pump. 4 very easy, like I said, intuitive programmable speeds and programmable. I'm sorry, 4 programmable settings, and then also we can manipulate the speed relative to each program. So we can have 4 different timings on if we want to run the pool at 1100 RPM for 4 hours and ramp it up to 2400 for a couple hours and then bring it back down to 1000 for 3 hours at the end of the day. You can do that all on this pump, and it's very easy to program at the pump. And then the automation, we do have language in there for the existing automation that's out there, some of the most popular. And you, at this point right now, we're running a translator that will translate the language and turn our pump into that automation that they have on their system. And we went with one of the most popular languages that most of all the major automations recognize. So we can connect with the automation out there. We will eventually be moving that into the motor, and our translator will go away. So the typical RS connection cable will allow you to, right now, run that into our translator and that into your automation. And then soon the 3.0 will have that communication cable will come right out of your automation and right into our RS connection port.
Nice.
One of the other things that I really liked about this control panel compared to some of the others is it's designed very user-friendly and more intuitive. It first struck me kind of almost like the play pause kind of a thing on our music players and cassette decks. I'll date myself.
What's that?
And so it yeah, right.
That was
should have said CD.
Yeah.
At least I didn't go all the way back to 8-track.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't pause them. But and that was a metal button. But the interface of it is really intuitive because it was designed to be a pump, where some of the other early innovators in these drives, really, they come from other industries. So the interface, the up, down, left, right, center, that's a universal control for a lot of kind of industrial applications. And this was designed from day one to be a pump. And so the green button is a green arrow. The pause is the little 2 hash marks kinds of things in red. 1, 2, 3 button. So it's really an intuitive interface. And how it works is when you want to program something and all that, it just kind of it works. You don't have to do escape and some kind of kludgy stuff because those are multi-purpose drives used in other. And so in that regard, and this is, again, the idea is we want pool owners to not, to be able to succeed in programming. And it certainly doesn't hurt because the service industry, we're always looking and dying for more help. And so, it's a great entry level position into the pool industry. And they start not knowing anything, right? Coming out of high school or wherever, coming from another industry to join a fun industry that is the pool industry. So we really tried to focus on that initial intuitive usability using stuff that people are already accustomed to.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Definitely sets it apart from others, so I like that. It's going to be Wi-Fi compatible too at some point.
Yeah, we have a app in development now, and then the Wi-Fi connectability will be able to connect to your home network, and then you'll be able to run the pump off of your app. The programming speeds, the preset speeds, the run programs, you'll be able to run that all on your app.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
In development.
And that's another one where the interface of it looks clean and simple. You want to go faster, you touch with your finger and speed up like a speedometer. Say, okay, it's on a slow speed. You can speed it up, or you can push the button for program 1 and put in the number you want. So there's many ways. It's a very visual, easy to understand, great summary, and all the functionality. It's just very clean. So when you get your hands on that,
that's in. And not far off. I think by the end of the year, that'll be in full effect.
Very cool.
I'm not speaking out of turn by talking about the beta.
No, the app is good. We're really happy with the app. There's a few other things that we're working on now to tie that into your home network. So we don't have to continue to move in and out of the pump with the phone. We can just tie it to the home network, just like you do your Ring doorbell, and connect to it whenever you want, whenever you open your app.
Very cool.
You have good onboard controls. You have good app controls if you want to talk directly, and then pair it to your automation or your Wi-Fi so you can control it from anywhere, kind of a thing. And then the fourth element is tying into classic, automation systems, so that you can, if they want to replace this, or even they have a single speed pump. It's probably going to be more common. A single speed pump that's being controlled by one of these other systems. Well, we'll be able to tie it into that, and really boost the productivity of what people already own.
Sure. Yeah, very cool. And it comes in 2 sizes, right?
Yeah, so we have 2 sizes. We have 3 horsepower and 1.5 horse. In our 1.5 horse models, we have a base model and a smart model. And that smart model comes with everything that we're talking about, the RS connectability, and then the Wi-Fi capability when that's ready. The base model does not have that RS connection port, nor does it have the Wi-Fi, and that is programmable at the pump. Now, again, we offer that base model only in the 1.5 horse. Now, in the 3 horsepower, those are all going to be smart models. So traditional 3 styles, and then we also will have a separate part number and pump for 3 versions of SVRS capability. So if you do want that capability, and you do want to order that pump, you can order that pump with the SVRS capability inside of it.
Very cool.
So yeah, pipeline pump, pipeline filter, tying them together. And the pipeline filter, as we talked about before, has been out for about a year now, gaining tons of speed, lots of momentum with it. Really performing well, and we are just starting to launch the pipeline pump. As I said, we have a few hundred out in the Southern California market, doing really well, getting lots of great feedback, and next week we're actually going to start shipping pumps across the country.
That's awesome.
And we are using NSF for our certification agency. Yeah,
no,
we really
Steve Barnes using NSF. Nah. Can't
yeah,
be.
well, so these are flow ratings you can trust. Is that what,
correct? Yeah,
yes,
correct.
Exactly.
But the key there is anybody who would want to use this on a semi-public pool kind of a thing. You're from a compliance point of view, because we have the federal law for the dedicated purpose pool pump. There's actually a dedicated purpose pool pump motor rule that's in the works. That's going to be interesting, but we're already in compliance because pay attention to such things. So whatever this administration chooses to do, we're ready. Because that could upset this apple cart yet again on replacement motors. But it's a controversy going on in and of itself. But the key there is when you see that blue NSF, building officials and all that, they have a good sense of, they trust it because that organization, they reject our stuff for commas, quite literally. If it's a code comma,
sure,
they have a reputation, and they take it as seriously as we take our design stuff. It's not easy to get that certification compared to some of the others,
right?
And we know because we've been at the others.
It's true.
I'll leave it at that.
Right. All right. Well, it sounds we got through everything. You guys, anything else we missed you want to talk about? Any other pieces of it? No? Steve, you got through a whole episode without talking about kids drowning or suction violation. You did awesome. You didn't start it off sad.
We would have got all the way
time.
through it if you hadn't. Yeah, no, this is all good. We solved all those problems.
Made the promise that Todd was going to start the next episode, and he did. See, we didn't have the sad intro.
Yeah,
right.
Just kidding.
We're just really excited about bringing this pump to the market to pair it with our filter. I think one thing that we didn't talk about that we want to talk about, it's a 3-year warranty on the pump. And then right now, as we talked about in the last episode, 1-year warranty on the filter. If you pair them together, you get 3 years on both. So we're just, again, our MO is to move water in and out of a pool in a safe and efficient fashion. And then we build a filter that will actually outperform the rest of the cartridge filters in the industry. So putting these two units together, made for the service trade, it's exactly who we made them for. We're really fired up to get it into everyone's hands. We've gone through a number of test service companies across the country that we really respect, and we picked some throughout the country that because we wanted to get different feedback from everybody, and the feedback has just been incredible. So we couldn't be more happy. The team has done such a phenomenal job on putting this product together and bringing it to market. It's really exciting times for AquaStar right now.
And it was crazy fun to test something that wasn't life-threatening.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, you're holding up to your reputation.
And I promise, we got 3 major projects in the works now, and I won't have a scary story about any of those 3.
No, I'm just messing about that, but always respect that piece too. But you guys are holding up to the reputation that I think you're building within this trade and within the pool professional world, and I love it, man. The pump looks awesome. I can't wait to see it, in the actual field performing. So thank you, and thanks for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Tyler, and thank you for what you guys do. It's amazing, awesome. And we love being a part of it.
Yeah, you're such a service to the industry. It's awesome.
Hey, Pool Chasers. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the episode. To connect with today's guests, including pictures, links, and resources from everything discussed today, you can visit the episode page at poolchasers.com or click the links below. To connect more with us, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter by searching at Pool Chasers. If you would like to support the podcast, the easiest and most effective way is to subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as share the show or your favorite episode with a friend or on social media. Also, you can get early access to each episode by supporting us through Patreon. We know your time is valuable, so thank you for sharing some of yours with us today.
See you out there, Pool Chasers.